What's up, guys? This is Matt Price with Price Family Woodwork. So today I got some new toys in. I got a tripod for my phone, and I got a little hot shoe for my phone. I guess it's a cold shoe actually, because you really can't hook anything up to it. But on the way here soon is going to be some wireless lavalier mics and some lights, and we're start really getting some pretty decent video for you guys, I think. So one of the things I do want to talk to you about, I'm not going to shoot a video today, but one of the things I do want to talk to you about is I've had lots of questions about my juice groove jig and how I cut juice grooves, what I'm doing when I cut juice grooves. And I posted a video a while back of me just routing away, cutting a juice groove, and no commentary, no explanation. So you guys are probably sitting there going, well, that doesn't tell me much. So today what I want to do is show you how I've made one of my fences, explain the measurement part of it, and then go back on top of that, and I'm going to take that other video and do some commentary over top of it. So hopefully it helps you guys build a really simple juice groove jig. It's really simple to use and really easy to build, and it should take all the fear, yeah, right, all the fear out of doing juice grooves. So, and I know that's one of the most tense times is when you're cutting your juice groove. You got this board that's completed and it's squared up and it's beautiful and it's ready to go, and now you got to take a router to it. And I know it can be intimidating and it can be scary, but I'm gonna give you a couple tips on how to make it a little less intimidating. And after you've done a couple hundred of them, it's pretty much just business as usual. So the first thing I want to show you is the fence. So this is one of 4 fences, and basically what happens is your cutting board will right against this edge, and you'll trap it in a square. And because of this length, I can't even hardly get out on camera. This fence is one of my long fences. This is a 32. It's 32, maybe 36 inches long. I don't remember. But that's not important. You can make them any size. I just make mine larger because I can do from really, I guess, 6 inches by 6 inches, which is my router base, all the way up to 36 by 36. But the gist of this is it's just a fence, and your distance from your guide to the edge of your fence, for me, in my case, is 2.5 inches. And the reason that it's 2.5 inches is because the distance from the edge of my bit to the edge of my router base plate, which is not this DeWalt that I use up there, and it's not my DeWalt in my Justin router table, it's actually my Bosch, which is down there, 1617 with a plunge base. So it's 3 inches from the edge of the bit to the edge of the base plate. I want my juice groove to be a 1/2 inch off the edge of the board. Therefore, if I'm 2.5 inches here, that moves my bit. If 3 inches is 0, which would be right here, if this distance from here to here is 2.5 inches, now my bit has moved over 1/2 inch. And of course, that moves the bit over 1/2 inch on the board. Then I cut clockwise around, and I make 3 passes. Now I'll go over all that in the video while I'm doing that work. The other thing is these are really easy to make. It's just 3/4 plywood. This isn't even Baltic birch, but you do want to make sure that this section where your router is going to ride on, this here, the edge of your router base right here, you want this to be flat, because if it's got a bow in it, your juice groove is going to have a bow in it. The other thing is you don't have to cut it into a dado like I did. I just found that cutting it into a dado makes it more rigid and takes any chance of that bowing to happen, kind of takes that out of there because it's a really tight fitting dado. And then I just, of course, glued and screwed along the bottom. And that's all there is to it. And this juice groove is really easy, and it's really easy to use once you've done it a few times. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. It's Matt Price, Price Family Woodworks. You guys be safe. All right, we'd like to start off with a little prayer to make sure we ask for a quality and safe cut. So as you can see, it's a very simple jig. So basically the whole gist of this is you have 4 fences that trap the cutting board in the settle, and then you can make those whatever size that you want and be able to accommodate any size board. Now James King has a video where he's got T-track laid in his, and that's a great juice groove jig. So this is basically very similar to James's juice groove jig. Mine, the difference between his and mine is you screw the fences down to the plywood. And I didn't choose to make a jig similar to that because I just don't have the room. You look at my tiny little shop. All right, What I do want to talk about though, one of the tips in the video is that you see I cut the whole side and at one time. So I didn't go all the way around the juice groove like you see folks do. And the reason why I do this is I'll take 3, sometimes 4 bites, depending on what type of material I'm cutting, and I'll go ahead and cut the full depth on one pass, and then I'll move to the next piece, to the next piece, and the next piece. And the reason why I do that is it really, I find that it helps with burning in the corners. So what happens is, now you see me cutting this tube, and I'll stop. Now at that end grain, on that end, on both of these ends actually, half the corner is already missing. So when I go to make the next cut at the end grain, you have less of a chance, you have less material there for your router to stand in, so it's less of a chance of burning. Now I will tell you that I've learned since I've done this video, I made a mistake here when I cut this groove, and I cut hundreds of grooves. I really should start cutting. You really should cut the end grain first. And I call it the end grain. You should cut the end grain ends first. You should cut the ends first. So if you do have a blowout of going across the grain like that, a lot of times when you come back and do your long grain cut, it'll help clean that up if you have a little blowout. Not all the time, but sometimes it will. So again, it's easy. It's super easy jig to make. Make sure you guys are going clockwise around the board too. I, for the longest time, did a bunch of them backwards. I went counterclockwise, and I fought my router against the fence, and my arms and wrists would be so sore from trying to keep that router against the fence. And the reason I did that is because I saw somebody doing it on YouTube, and that's the way I thought it was supposed to be done. And come to find out, I was wrong. When I started going clockwise, the direction of the bit actually helps pull the router into the fence, and really makes it a lot easier to keep the router against the fence. So you see me sweeping and vacuuming, you really should do that to keep all that dust from blowing in your face. And on my floor, it's concrete floor, it's a little slippery, so make sure that safety is paramount in the shop, and that's what we do. So hey guys, if you have any questions, again, drop them down in the comments. This is Matt Price with Price Family Woodworks, and this juice groove is just about done. So we'll make this last pass here, and if I remember right, this was a really nice board. It came out phenomenally well. So everyone stay safe in the shop, and I'll be coming back with some videos in the very, very near future. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope if you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. We're gonna have some really nice stuff coming out. I'm really dedicated to making a detailed cutting board video. Thanks guys, y'all be safe.